Cosmology is the study of the universe and how everything fits together. In many cultures, cosmology includes explanations about life, death, and what happens afterwards. And today, we're going to talk about the Japanese underworld, a place called Yomi. Yomi is a big part of Japanese mythology. It's believed to be a world where spirits go after they die. It's a shadowy realm beneath our world. It's not like heaven or hell in other cultures, but more of a resting place for souls. Yomi is often described as dark and gloomy, but it's also a place full of mystery and importance in Japanese stories. Many myths mention Yomi and its connection to life and death. It gives us a peek into what ancient Japanese people thought about the afterlife. Some tales describe it as a place where gods and spirits interact. Others see it as a spiritual journey for those who have passed away. So throughout this episode, we'll explore different aspects of Yomi. We'll look at the stories and legends that bring this place to life. We'll meet Izanami, the powerful ruler of Yomi, and understand her role. We'll take a closer look at the nature of Yomi, what it's like, and important locations within it. And lastly, we'll meet the guardians that protect this mysterious underworld. So let's do this. Yomi in Japanese mythology is a realm that extends into the afterlife. According to ancient texts, it's a dark and dreary place where the dead reside. Yomi first appears in Shinto beliefs and is elaborated on in the Kojiki, which is a collection of myths and stories from Japan's early days. Yomi fits into the broader scope of Japanese mythology as the final resting place after death. Unlike the Western concept of an underworld ruled by demons or a place of punishment, Yomi is more of a shadowy continuation of existence. It represents a land of the dead, not necessarily a place of torment. One of the most significant tales connected to the Yomi is the story of Izanami's descent. Izanami, along with her husband Izanagi, is considered one of the primary creators of the Japanese islands and other deities. So after giving birth to the fire god Kagetsuchi, Izanami was horrifically burned and succumbed to her injuries. Heartbroken, Izanagi followed her to Yomi to bring her back to the world of the living. I have already told this story before. I don't mind telling it again because it's actually a pretty cool story. When Izanagi finally reached Yomi, he found Izanami transformed into a decaying form. Despite his pleas for her to return, Izanami had consumed the food of Yomi and became bound to the underworld. This act marked a significant point in mythology, signifying that once you eat the food of Yomi, there is no return. Izanagi, heartbroken and scared, fled from Yomi and sealed the entrance with a massive boulder to prevent the dead from crossing back into the land of the living. This tale is crucial as it explains the separation between the living world and the underworld in Japanese lore. It also introduces the concept of pollution or impurity that comes from death, which influences many Shinto rituals aimed at purification. Another important myth involves Susanoo, the storm god and brother of the sun goddess Amaterasu. Susanoo was cast down to Yomi as punishment for his disruptive behavior in the heavens. His journey to Yomi also added layers to the understanding of the underworld, painting it as a gloomy, shadowy place where even gods could be banished. The mythology surrounding Yomi adds depth to the Japanese understanding of life and death. The tales of Izanami's descent and Susanoo's banishment emphasize the significance of the underworld in maintaining the balance between the living and the dead. As we explore the various aspects of Yomi, these stories provide a foundational understanding that ties the concepts together, offering insight into Japanese beliefs about the afterlife and the boundary between the two realms. All right, so getting back to Izanami. When she descended to Yomi, she became its ruler. Her transformation from a creator goddess to the queen of the underworld marked a significant shift in her role. Izanami's tale doesn't end with her death. It continues to influence many aspects of Japanese mythology. Now, we've already talked about a little bit the story of Izanagi's descent into Yomi. When he embarked on this perilous journey out of love and grief, what he found in Yomi changed their relationship forever. Izanami was now bound to the underworld, and she couldn't return to the world of the living, which we've discussed. She urged Izanagi to leave, but curiosity led him to look upon her decayed form. And this tale is very similar to the tale of Orpheus. So when Izanagi looked upon his wife, the sight horrified him, and feeling betrayed, Izanami chased after him as he fled Yomi. Her chase after Izanagi led to significant consequences, including her vow to take 1,000 lives each day, to which Izanagi responded by ensuring that 1,500 lives would be born daily. This exchange brings balance to the cycle of life and death in Japanese mythology. Understanding Izanami's background and role provides insight into the structure of the Japanese underworld. She moved from being a life giver to a guardian of the dead, showcasing a duality that permeates many myths. Her story is vital as it connects the living world with the underworld, illustrating the continuous cycle of life and death and rebirth. Izanami's significance in Japanese mythology can't be overstated. As the ruler of Yomi, she embodies the passage from one realm to another, and maintains the balance within the spiritual cosmos. Her narrative continues to impact and inspire various cultural aspects, from religious practices to literature, reflecting the profound legacy she left within the mythological framework. Yomi, unlike the bright heavens or the beautiful earth, is often described as a shadowy, dismal place. The word Yomi itself can be translated to land of darkness, and it gives us an idea of the overall mood and appearance. The physical features of Yomi are quite grim. According to the myths, it's a vast, desolate land with little to no light. The ground is said to be barren and lifeless, with an eerie quiet that fills the air. There's no sunlight, and the entire place is covered in a perpetual twilight. Wanderers in Yomi would find a gray, colorless landscape stretching as far as the eye can see. The general atmosphere in Yomi is one of sorrow and regret. Those who enter Yomi are often filled with a sense of dread and despair. It's not just a physical setting that weighs heavy on the heart. It's also the emotional weight of being in a place associated with death and the end of life. The mythological stories described it as a place you wouldn't want to visit, let alone stay in. Several myths help paint a clearer picture of what Yomi is like. Another aspect of Yomi is its entrance. To reach Yomi, one must go through a cave or a hole in the ground. The entrance is usually hidden from plain sight, signifying the separation between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. Once someone crosses the entrance and steps into Yomi, the way back to the living world is incredibly difficult, if not impossible. The myth also tells of polluted waters within Yomi, possibly symbolizing the taint of death. These waters add to the overall sense of corruption and decay prevalent in this underworld. Crossing these waters is another challenge for any soul trying to leave, making it even more of an otherworldly and haunting place. There's also mention of certain landmarks like Yomatsu Hirasaka, which is the slope leading to the entrance of Yomi. The slope is significant as it represents the final boundary between the world of the living and the dead. It's depicted as a steep and treacherous path, emphasizing the difficulty and danger in navigating between these two realms. The mythology surrounding Yomi gives us a striking contrast to the lively, vibrant world above. It shows the ancient Japanese perspective on death and afterlife, a place not just of physical gloom, but also emotional and spiritual desolation. It's a realm filled with sorrow and regret. It's also a crucial part of the mythological landscape, offering a poignant reflection on life and what lies beyond. Yomi isn't just a single location, it's a sprawling realm with various places of interest, each with its own significance. Another significant location within Yomi is the Yomatsu Kuni, which translates loosely into the land of gloom. This is the central area of Yomi where souls reside and where Izanami lives. The land of gloom shrouds its inhabitants in darkness and decay, reflecting their separation from the living world. The river that separates the worlds is known as the Sanzu River. It's similar to the river Styx in Greek mythology, as it serves as a crossing point where souls must pass, and it's believed that their actions in life determine how they cross, by bridge, by wading through shallow water, or by confronting dangerous rapids. Perhaps the most grim of all places in Yomi is the rotting chamber where Izanagi found Izanami. This specific chamber symbolizes the finality and the decay associated with death. Izanagi's encounter here with his deceased wife, now a rotting corpse, emphasizes the irreversible nature of death. Each location within Yomi serves a purpose in the broader narrative of the Japanese afterlife. These places don't just exist in isolation. They are interconnected through stories that reflect beliefs and fears about death and the afterlife. Understanding these locations helps us appreciate the structure and the stories that make Yomi a key part of Japanese mythology. Guardians of Yomi are central figures in Japanese mythology. They hold vital roles in controlling who enters and leaves the eerie underworld. At the gate of Yomi stands a fearsome guardian named Oxhead, or Yushioni. With the grotesque body of an ox and the face of a demon, Yushioni instills fear in anyone who approaches. His origins are tied to ancient tales where demons and spirits are quite common. His main job is to make sure no one gets in or out without permission. Any soul that tries to escape soon meets his wrath. Alongside Ushioni is another figure called Horseface, or Umagami. His appearance is straightforward. It's a human body with the head of a horse. And like his partner, he too guards the entrance of Yomi. Horseface symbolizes the untamed spirit of the underworld, ready to chase down any soul daring enough to defy the rules. Together, these two guardians prevent the chaos that could ensue if the dead and the living worlds mixed without control. Oxhead and Horseface are not the only guardians. Deep within the confines of Yomi, other spirits and lesser demons play supporting roles. They serve Izanami and enforce her commands. These spirits, sometimes shadows and wraiths, monitor the souls, making sure they follow the laws set by Izanami. Origin stories suggest these spirits were souls who showed exceptional loyalty to Izanami, earning their roles as keepers of the underworld. The existence of these guardians is crucial to maintaining the balance between the living and the dead. Their roles emphasize the importance of order in Japanese cosmology. Each guardian's story contributes to the broader tapestry of Yomi, illustrating the roles and responsibilities of spirits in this realm. The guardians of Yomi are not merely figures of fear, but symbols of the necessary checks within the supernatural order. Yomi is not just a mythological place, it's a reflection of cultural beliefs about life, death, and what lies beyond. It's a crucial part of Japanese folklore, offering insight into how ancient people viewed the world around them and what might wait for them in the afterlife. If you found this episode interesting, there's plenty more to uncover about Japanese mythology and folklore. These stories have been passed down through generations and continue to captivate and teach us about the human experience. We encourage you to explore further and dive into more tales from this rich cultural tradition. So I want to thank you for listening and hope you guys have a great day. All right, that's all I've got for today. If you like it, give us a like and subscribe. If you don't like it, that's okay too. Other than that, have a great day.